welcome everybody on the internet world, on the digital realm, wherever they may be, wherever they land. Hopefully they are comfortable and happy wherever they are. I'm really happy that y'all are here. Hopefully we can all stay comfortable and happy during this time together. Bless you. So I'm Jane, for those of you that don't know me.
Hey, Jane.
And this is A.
You did your pain?
Huh?
No, you
Pain.
didn't.
I didn't hear the first part.
I said, you say you were Jane. I said, are you dishing out pain?
No. Not today. Not today. But this is expansions, and it's the spiritual dimension of wellness. So it's one of my favorites because it's all about beliefs and the unseen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do just want to say that because of the nature of the topic, I do hold a request that there is no judgment. So if someone uses the word God, hey, Charles. If someone uses the word God and you use the word Jesus, or you use the word universe, or you use the word earth, or you use the word nothing, that it's all accepted and there's no right and there's no wrong. So I just want to make sure that we're all in alignment with that all beliefs are accepted here. And it's just a space to expand the collective belief, whether they're similar or different. Does that feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Sweet.
Hey, man, it's, You know, a lot of people judge for one reason. They don't know.
Yes, that is very
That's for
true.
real. They
Yeah.
don't know. That's why they judge.
Yeah.
They're scared of the unknown.
That's their opinion of you or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's why I said, if it matters, guess what? You don't judge.
Mm.
And if you judge, it don't matter again.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, is that the unknown. So I'm glad you brought that up. I want to say good morning to my mother, who's joining from Indiana. Hopefully you're staying warm and cozy. All right. So I'm going to just chime these tingshes just to clear the air a little bit more. So if everybody could just listen to the sound, and you'll hear the sounds of everything else around us, and that's perfect, and that's beautiful, and it's life. So if we'll just take a big breath in together, just let this breath go. Do it again. Breathe in, become present in your body and in this now moment. And with each breath in, you settle into now, and each breath out, it's an offering to the world. It's an offering of a part of you, of your love, of your light, of your essence, of your presence. That every breath in is filling up with the breath of life, with spirit. And every breath out is a gift. We'll take another big breath in together and just let it go. Now we're here. Now we're here. All right. Well, this feels good right now, doesn't it? Just this. So this past Tuesday, someone brought up a topic, and I love the topic. So I want to take it and just dive into it and expand it and just talk about it. And it's about prophecy. And there are different perspectives and stories of prophecy throughout time, throughout belief systems, throughout peoples around the world. And they all have this vein of something similar through all of them, no matter where they started, no matter who's still talking about them, that there's this connecting thing in all prophetic stories. And I don't know all prophetic stories whatsoever. So I'm not that person to be like, let me tell you all the stories of prophecy, because I can't. And I can talk about some. And I feel like some of y'all in here may know some stories of prophecy from your own lineage, from your own practice, from your own belief system, or whatever it is that you have been shared with in your life. So some of the stories of prophecy that I find really interesting, there are two that really stick out. One is the Hopi prophecy, and the other one is another group that I don't know. So I'm not really the best at telling stories when it comes to like, oh, this is the person who said the thing. So I'm really aware that it's not nice, but I do my best with my memory. So the Hopi prophecy, when we look at the Hopis, they were a group of indigenous that were basically in the Americas. So the North, the Central, and the South Americas. And the stories from their lineage that have been passed down since the beginning of time, of human, is that there was a world of creation. There was a world of Eden, basically. There was a heaven on earth. And the people mistreated it, basically. And so that world collapsed. The first world of creation ended. And only some survived. The second world of creation came into being, a new emergence of man, of woman. And so they did their thing. They misused resources. They fought. Look at that. Second world died. Third world of creation comes about. New land masses, new beings, new remembrances, and also just learning and still passing down the stories of the first humans that came from this heaven on earth kind of timeline. So this keeps repeating itself. So now we're, according to the Hopi prophecy, we are in the fourth world of creation. Now, would you be willing to put that on silent? Thank you. So I'm not exactly sure how many worlds of creation they say there is, but the worlds stop being destroyed when everyone comes together and works in harmony, right? And so the Hopi prophecy says that the four elements, the four directions of beings, that the four unique aspects of life come together and they work together in harmony. That is the prophecy. It's that basically everything is going to get real shitty, and then everything comes together and we all work together. Okay, I can get on board with that, right? Mm-hmm. When we look at other prophecies, it's these big separations, right? People are fighting. People are disconnected from the earth, from spirit, from the oneness, from acting in accordance to love. There's this huge separation, a huge forgetfulness, right? And then there's going to be a sign of the prophecy. And in one of the stories is that the eagle and the condor will fly together. Well, when I think of the eagle, I think of the North America. When I think of the condor, I think of Central and South America. So it's really bringing the two hemispheres, the North and the South, the light, the dark, the up, the down, the left, the right. The balance of duality starts to come back together and live in harmony. And so when we look at all of these stories of prophecy, they all are the same. And I know that those are just two little examples, but it's basically like shit. We see that there's a bunch of shit, and then we come together. So I'm curious, what stories of prophecy have you all heard? Have you all, like, I think that the Bible, the end of the Bible is a little bit prophetic, right? The book of Revelation, I haven't read it.
Revelation is very prophetic, yeah, it is.
Can you speak to it just for a moment?
He talks about when God created the heavens and earth, and he's going to destroy the earth and create a new heaven and earth. He's going to allow Lucifer for 1,000 years. Satan, he's going to allow him 1,000 years to 7-year reign. It's a long stuff. Yeah. It's like, they could be a 3-hour conversation.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated book. It took me like 30 years to learn. You know what I mean? It's very complicated. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
You can't just read one time and go straight. You have to like go through and study it, put things together. It's like a puzzle. It's like Tetris.
Yeah.
Bible's kind of Tetris. It kind of, some of Genesis might tie something to Revelation, 1,000 pages away. So it's not tied together in any order. It's just you have to tie things together. It's like Tetris, something like this.
Okay. Thank you. Would anyone else like to share a little bit about what you know about any prophecies, any stories of like how the end is going to happen?
I don't know any prophecies. I was Catholic and they did it, I don't know. And then I'm into my world now. And sometimes I don't believe a lot of things because I think they're stories. I don't know what there's a word for it. They're telling lies. But I can go with my beliefs are spiritual outside of me. And I can go with something like what you're talking about because internally, I have felt like things are going to collapse if don't learn to be kind to each other. I feel like we can't go on this way, and I didn't know what would happen or what the prophecy was, but I very much try to imagine and pray we can all be one. That's it.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. I want to continue speaking to all of this. Were you going to share something? Does anyone have any other stories of any type of, yeah?
One prophetic thing that I know of a little bit that's been popularized is the Norse prophetic thing of Ragnarok, basically about the huge battle that is supposed to be the death of most of the Norse pantheon of gods and the substitution of like mankind.
Okay.
And like a Ragnarok was supposed to be like a big change within that whole system of many of their Norse gods in the pantheon would die during the Battle of Ragnarok, and it would change, like forever change mankind by losing certain gods.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Or,
Any other stories anybody knows?
I don't believe it. I don't go by what I heard. Timothy 2:15 says this. That is good about that one. I work from God, not to change, right and right word of truth. And the only way you don't know the truth, you have to read it for yourself. You can't go by what people tell you and this and that. That's what cause you will fall into a trap. Everybody learned that. You will fall into a trap sooner or later if you keep on listening to what people tell you. Study for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way you get knowledge with.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, because I mean, if I'm reading someone's written word, that's the same thing as listening to someone. So really, there's no difference between listening to someone and reading something. And still, like, what is that inner resonance, right? And that's why I like to talk about these different stories of like the end of time and then the next creation, the next iteration, the how, like the what happens. Do you know any stories of prophecy?
Do I know any stories of what?
Of prophecy? Like around like the end of world, come back together, or anything like that?
Not really.
Okay. So when we look at even most all traditions that I can think of, the stories are everything was perfect. People took advantage of the resources. They took advantage of peace. They became greedy. They wanted something outside of themselves to feel better about themselves. And that caused pain, suffering, and war, right? Battles, fighting, bloodshed, death. And then once people kind of realize the mess they make, at some point, we have to stop making the mess and clean up. And so that's been the prophecy of most everything. It's like, okay, so my question is, do you think we're at that point yet as a collective where we're starting to realize that, oh, there's a mess now?
I wish that was happening. I don't think we've pushed it to the last degree of hate, because I see hate still coming out and coming out and coming out. And the people that hate had to take it to death, I think. They will not be satisfied until their hate is pushed out into the world.
Okay.
That's what I think. But it's my job to go out and have love every day and change the world and express love to everybody. I think we're getting better, like mental health is being recognized a little bit more. People that don't have money, and they're being recognized a little bit more from the rich, And so that is, I think, that's my hope.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
I think what makes it difficult, is what one can see as a truth or prophecy coming true, can be looked at by a lot of people as conspiracy.
Yeah.
Looking at them being called crazy, and I think that creates a barrier too, where now like being able to listen for a bit, it going into unfolding, it tying into a lot of beliefs, a lot of religions where they talk about like warning signs of end times, and we can say, hey, Elon Musk with the brain chip, like, oh well, that's just science evolving, and other people can say, it's like little signs of those types of things. It's like, yeah, we're definitely things are getting a little out of control, and then the suppressed are, being, our source of entertainment can be just a tablet or YouTube, or, where even in that, it can make us just get just enough to see what's going on, but then also it's just enough to keep us from talking about it or fighting against or standing up or even uniting on the same belief.
Thank you for sharing that and speaking to that. I think that anybody ever been a kid and you had a messy room?
I think everybody.
Right? You've been a kid and at some point maybe your room was messy. At some point your room was messy. Maybe you didn't think it was messy though.
Yeah.
Like when you look at my desk, oh, it's organized. But if someone else came in there, they would be like, what just happened to the whole room? And I'm like, oh, everything, I know where everything is. It's organized. I just need more storage. I can reason out the mess.
Right.
And I can tell you why the mess is exactly the way it is. I can tell you why I'm so smart, because I have all of these books that made my mess. I can tell you the books that I've read to tell me how to clean up my mess. And then I am choosing to not clean up my mess because it's not even a mess, right? So I start to write it, right? I write the mess.
Yeah.
I make it okay.
Mhm.
And then someone else comes in and they're like, whoa, this is kind of a mess, right? And then I have things that I can do. I can either get real defensive, right? Like, oh my God, no, it's not. I'm a good person, right? Or I could reason it out. Well, this is why it's messy. I haven't been home in days. Haven't been able to clean it in weeks. Or I could marginalize and minimize it, and it's not that bad. I could become the narcissist and gaslight the person telling me, well, what's wrong with you? No, you're crazy because you think it's messy, right?
Yeah.
So if we think about that with the way reality is right now, when we see all of this stuff and we see all that seems like fighting or hate or litter or whatever, this unkind lack of compassion experience that many of us are being able to witness, because we do live in a third dimensional dense consciousness where we have duality. We have the good, the bad, the comfort and the discomfort. So when we see all of it, do you get then in the mess and start to reason why? Or maybe you sit in the middle of the messy room and be like, see, I can't get out. It's just messy. I can't do anything about it. Do you become a victim to the mess? I can't get out,
Kind of.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I can't do anything. I didn't make the mess, but now I'm in it. Or maybe you feel overloaded. I can't clean it by myself.
How can I do it all by
You know
myself?
why you like that?
Right.
If you say you possible, you possible problem. That's it. So you got to look at yourself, not nobody else. You got to look at yourself neatly and get the garbage out of you. Put some
Exactly.
good stuff back out of there.
Totally. And we also live in a world with others. So it's a twofold thing, right? If it's just my room and my mess and nobody ever comes in it and ever lives in it, then who cares? Right? But I live in a home called Earth that's messy with my brothers and sisters on the earth plane that are experiencing the mess that I know I've been an active participant in creating. Right? Because I haven't cleaned it all up. So if I haven't cleaned it all up, then I'm an active participant in the mess. You know? So it's like, okay, well, let me clean my room and you clean your room and we can all come together and we can work together and I can help you clean your room and you can help me clean mine. And we work together, right? But we're at this point, I think, in this timeline where we're seeing the mess. We're starting to see the dissolving of the dismantling and dissolving of what has made the room so messy, right? We're starting to see what made the room messy. We've been seeing the mess because we've been living in it. But now we're starting to see what made the room so messy. And we realized that I had my active part in it, right? I made the room messy for sure. But also maybe I had like an alcoholic parent that came in and when they were raging and blacked out, they were making the mess in the room.
But then again,
Right.
sooner or later, they want you to clean it up.
They want you to clean it up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when we look at this image of this like raging alcoholic parent that came in and made the room and made the house a mess and then left you to wake up the next morning and told you, look at the mess you made.
Clean it up.
Clean it up.
Yeah.
And you're like, now I'm dazed, I'm confused, I don't know what to do. So we're in that reality now where we're starting to see, hopefully with a compassionate lens, that this raging alcoholic parent that made a mess was in their trauma, right? They were in their trauma. They were living in their trauma, making this mess. So when we can start to see the systems that have made this mess, we can start to see the government, the education system, the pharmaceutical companies, like we can start to see the systems as a whole as like, oh, wow, you all really made this mess. And I've been a victim to a lot of it, but I've also fed it. So I've actually created the mess too. And it's that accountability, that self-accountability that we start to come together because we start to see like, okay, I see you made a mess. I made a mess. You made a mess. I made a mess. Let's all clean this shit up together. That's the prophecy of the world coming together.
Oh, wow.
It's for us to be able to see, ooh, this is mess. I'm a part of it. The system's a part of it. Oh, we're all a part of it. Now we can either sit in the mess, complain about it, but then it stays the mess. But it's the prophecy of when people of all around the world, all the elements, right? The different colors of people, the different beliefs of people, the differences of all humanity. It's not until we come together and say, hey, there's a mess. You see the mess? Yep. All right. How do we work together and how do we clean this up? How do we create this new earth, this new reality? How do we do that? I think that that's where we are. I think that that's where we are in these nows, or people are starting to wake up and see like, oh, this is a mess. And they're starting to see it from this higher lens and not from like the I'm in the mess, help me. But like, God, yeah, I'm still messy. But like, I can see that the mess is more than just me. The mess is in everybody's house,
Yeah.
right? And then the hearts open up when we see that. Don't they? Like when you have a deeper understanding that the life that you lived and the pain that you may have experienced, that you are not the only one, and that 99% of the humans that you see on this earth plane have experienced something like that. That every single brother and sister on this earth plane has experienced mess, trauma, victimization, put down, shut out, neglected, abused. 99% of the brothers and sisters on this earth plane, all of us, from all over the world, not just in the neighborhood, but all over. And if you start to see all those people, like if you imagine them right now, strangers walking down the street, having a messy home, a traumatized life that they're ignoring. No, it's fine. It's not messy. It's perfect. It's good. Not knowing how much pain and struggle they're in They don't know how much they're in, but you can see it because you've been there, maybe, you know? And then you see others that are lashing out all over the place because they're freaking out because they can't get rid of this mess. Maybe you've been one of them. I have, for sure. You know, where I couldn't handle the mess and I was like, give me some type of drug or alcohol. Give me something to distract. I need something because I can't handle this mess.
Quarters on TV.
Right. Yeah.
We know the
So-
truth is wrong.
Yeah. So,
Wrong.
yeah. So, like, seeing that every one of us has experienced some trauma, some type of trauma, and letting this compassionate heart, like, actually choose to open that up and choose to see everybody not as victims, but as you. It doesn't matter if they're driving the Bentley or if they're living under the overpass, they have trauma because they are on this earth plane and they are no different. Nobody is. And it's not until we can see that with this open heart, like, oh shit, you are me. God, I am you. Ooh. Now how do we work together? How do we work together? How do we come together? So that's the question of the ages, isn't it?
That we gotta be compassionate.
Yeah. I'm curious.
And then have to be compassionate to each other. And you can get over that.
Yes.
Work as a team, you can survive. That's what around everybody put it this way, that way, then they put it together.
Yeah.
You understand that.
Compassion is the expression of the heart when love is felt.
Love
Love is always. Love is.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're all think now. Everybody about me.
It's not being money.
And Donald Trump, so I'm gonna tell you what time it
Yeah,
is.
you will.
Well, you were about to ask a question,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we listened to your
So
question.
the question it's about compassion. So, you know, how many of us, okay, just be real honest. Be real honest with yourself. I set the stage. There is no judgment in this space. How many of us in this space, online and in this room, legit feel compassion for yourself?
Working on it.
I can there's something myself, really.
Me,
So just by a show of hands,
me,
that I actually feel compassion for myself, that I can see the struggle that I've had and I am holding myself in grace. Okay? Now, do you extend that to others 100% of the time?
I'm thinking, no,
most people don't want it.
Every day.
everybody might want it, but
You
doing
can't
it,
make them, you ain't gonna go there, you can't make them want it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want it.
I love that you said that.
It's so negative.
Yeah, I love that you said that. Think about this.
More you do, the more they want.
You know, when we can, you know, oftentimes it's like, I want to give you compassion. We use it as an example. You're experiencing something. Ooh, I feel it, and whatever, compassion. You may not feel it. So then I have a choice. I can either still have compassion. That's my feeling.
Mhm.
Or I can be like, nope, you're choosing to not accept my compassion. So I'm going to turn that off. Then what did I just do? I disconnected from my heart.
Right.
Mhm.
And then I stopped creating with my brothers and sisters on the earth plane because it's the only field of energy that we're going to come together and create with because it's the action of the heart.
Right.
That's the compassionate heart, right?
Mhm.
The
It's,
sunlight of the spirit.
yeah, you know, it's not, there's no blame when it comes to compassion. There's literally, I can't blame anyone for anything and hold compassion at the same time.
Right.
For me, once I started accepting and being compassionate of myself and being able to give it to others, one of the big things that I had to learn how to do was not put any expectations on it, because if I'm putting an expectation on how you receive what I'm putting out, then I just did the opposite of what I'm doing. I'm a contradiction of myself.
Mhm.
It's not up to me to decide how you take it or whether you do or you don't. It's up to me just to give it, period.
Yeah. Yeah, the no expectations. Thanks for bringing that up, because imagine this world, right? Where the whole universe, everybody realizes, whoa, there's a mess. So now we get to come together with a compassionate heart because we got to create this new reality and basically clean up the mess of the system, right? We can't be mad at the system. We can't really have any expectations on what the final result is going to be like. And we also can't expect others to be able to do what we can do,
Mhm.
right? Like I could go out here and walk for like 4 days straight.
No.
I think everybody should be able to do that until nobody can,
Mhm.
right? And then I'm left alone, right? Expectations leave us alone. It really does. I'm going to share what some people are sharing online. Philip is here and says that animal agriculture is killing us all. Live vegan, live in wellness. Excuse me. That is definitely a belief for sure. And Jay is here and says, and don't be afraid to ask for help. That's grace right there.
Say that last part again.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. And I said, that's grace.
Some people are, but me, if I need some help, I'm like, one of my people to give me some help, for my staff members, I'm asking for the help
Yeah.
directly. So, if I don't understand it or whatnot, they can help me out, like you did help me out.
Yeah.
Do the program, and do what I'm supposed to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Something that came up recently for me, I think I'm just going to assume that many people on the earth plane are feeling the money squeeze,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Like maybe a little bit more than maybe ever. Like, oh, so I did my bills the other day and I was like, I don't have enough food or gas money. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Legit. No idea. But something that I realized was I was sharing this with someone just like I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I'm getting down to like the last cans in the cabinet. And so they offered me some cash. And I was like, oh God, like, thank you. And I realized something. And I realized that I will feel extreme gratitude for support and help and gifts. I'm like, oh, like you tell me you love me and I'm grateful for that, right? Like I feel so much gratitude. But what I also noticed was that I still had a feeling in my psyche, in my field that felt shame.
Yes.
I still felt shame for needing support.
That's like you feel yourself.
Yeah, because that was the program that I was raised in. It was if you need help, you're lazy. Period.
Mhm.
If you can't take care of yourself, you're lazy.
Don't ask.
And if
for
you
help.
need something, then you're not enough.
Right.
It's
Then you're
pride,
not
yeah.
good enough.
It's pride. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Pride,
And so-
prevent pride, yeah. Everybody's got pride.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so for me, it was this space of like realizing that I can have gratitude, and I was feeling gratitude and shame at the same time.
Mhm.
And so when I recognized that I was still holding on to that shame for just needing support, I was like, no. Like I can't be holding that. Like that's not going to be in alignment. I cannot hold the frequency of shame in my field. Like, no. So I've been like working through that and like literally doing different release techniques
Right.
and becoming aware and moving it through. And being able to be like, oh my God, I love to receive.
Mhm.
I love to receive. Like there's no shame in receiving.
Mhm.
Like they're gifts. It's generosity.
Mhm.
It's love in a form.
Mhm.
It's proof of connection.
It is. It's like looking in someone's eyes.
Yeah.
Like that. And some people can't receive that, right? Some people have to look away because they're still carrying a challenge of receiving love
Mhm.
in the form of a gaze,
Mhm.
right? Some people don't like hugs, right? And we can tell all the reasons why. There might be trauma around it, this, that, and the other. Yep. Dirt. And they're still holding on to the trauma, the shame, the guilt, the whatever
Mhm.
of being loved because they have associations with it that were distorted, right? And that's when this really big compassionate heart comes in for us to recognize that we still have our own messes because we still carry on the messes of our parents and our grandparents. We just do. That's why we're here now to clear them, because we're really strong and we're really brave and we're really courageous people here on this timeline. So we're clearing out all this stuff in our own house from the houses that our parents left us.
Mhm.
That's better, I don't know.
Yeah. And also having a lot of compassion for everyone else's timeline and process in their clearing of their house, and understanding that however they act, react, don't act is literally just a reflection of where they are. And can we still work together now? Yeah. Because, like, your house doesn't have to be perfectly clean to help me with mine. Sometimes we just need a break from our own mess.
Mhm.
But some people do it, and they were saying, well, that's why some people offer maids to come clean their house, because, you know, they don't want it to get dirty, period, you know. They're
Exactly.
picking up their mess, but they don't left, but the maids come in and clean it up, just like, you know, and get paid for it.
Yes.
I see
And you
that
know-
just about every day.
Yes. And you know what that is equivalent to? The like, I'm going to have someone else clean my house for me. It's the same thing as taking pharmaceuticals for 20 years to not deal with your own mental shit, your mental and emotional shit.
Oh, I see that.
That's what it is.
From where I'm at.
You know,
I pay a good couple.
like, and I'm not saying all pharmaceuticals, y'all know, like, pharmaceuticals have their place. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's like someone picking up a bottle of whiskey
What's that?
for 50 years. That's having someone else clean your house.
Yeah, that's
It's you
true.
not dealing with your shit.
True.
It's you, me, us, not being unwilling to feel the discomfort of, like, oh wow, that was shame. Ah, that sucked.
My mom tell me that, she tells me that every day. But as soon as I get back from where I'm at right here today, I will go home and, you know, straighten up or whatnot, you know, but other than that,
Right.
everything else is perfect.
Exactly.
I don't clean, I don't cook, I don't do a damn thing to eat.
That's what I do. When I leave here, that's what I'm gonna do anyway.
Morning.
Eat something. If I go to the store, get go to the store and get it. I'm gonna eat something
Right.
all the time. You know?
So
I got a friend down here, a couple dollars, she hook it up.
Ooh.
so the point, right? Going back to where we might be as a collective. So the bottom of that door needs to be on the track. Nope, it's not on it. It's not on it. It's not on it. Yeah. I can see everything.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Well, you know, and it's funny. So my mom is on here. She says, "Sorry about the mess I made for you to clean. It was your job. It was your job to make the mess. That was the job of our ancestors. They did the best they could, and it's up to us, right?
I don't mind myself, you know, but
Yeah.
you know, I just do it, you know, constantly all the time.
So my question is, as we move forward, right? What if the reality is that the next few days, because when we look at the astrology of all the planets and the dances of everything, y'all, we just had spring, which is a new year. We had a new moon. We also had Ramadan began yesterday. And now Pluto is getting ready to move out of Capricorn and I think into Aquarius. Pluto is normally, like, it takes like 280 something years for the sucker to go around the sun. Like, it'll be in its zone for a minute. And when it went into Capricorn, what Pluto does is it shines a light on the darkness. Okay? It's like, look at this. Ha ha ha. So when it went into Capricorn, Capricorn is finances, hierarchical structures. Pluto went into that sign in 2008. What happened in 2008? The bank. Right? Remember, everybody was like losing their jobs, losing their house, losing their shit. People were starting to see like, oh my God. the system's a mess. The banking system, like, oh my God, they don't care about us, right? Like, people are starting to see that. It's been that since then. Pluto's been there since then. And it's been kind of that shit show since then, where we're seeing the mess and who's causing the mess and the structures that have been placed to be more mess making to keep us divided, right? So now Pluto's getting ready to move out of that and move into like Aquarius or something. So yay. So we're going to get this reprieve. And what it's moving into is this shine a light on how to move forward. That's where we are as a collective, as a universal like heartbeat, mindset, consciousness. We are being called to move forward together. Now we're going to get a little break when Pluto kind of goes back into Capricorn for a minute. And we're going to see another like, whoa, this is the structure. This is nuts. And then we're going to get that inspiration. Wow, this is a mess. How do we move forward together?
Right.
So this is where we are. We are moving forward together. We are all on this ship of life. We're all on the cosmic seas. We are creating the new earth now. This is the timeline. We are living in the time of prophecy, of peoples coming together from all around the world. Thankfully, we have global communication, right? And we have the ability to walk down the street and see someone and be like, hi, how you doing? Those that aren't afraid of connecting with another human, right? This is the timeline we're in. We are in the time of all prophecies, which means that we're going to see the big mess. And it's not a fun mess to see. It's not. Y'all know, we've seen some messes. We're going to start seeing we're going to see more. We're going to see more. And that's okay, because we've been in our own messy houses, and we've been the brave souls to start cleaning our own shit. You know, there are some people that have only had others clean their houses, that have never dealt with their shit, that just open up that bottle of Chardonnay every night, and they're making enough money so that they feel like they're doing okay. So they've never seen the mess. Wow, that's going to be a big whoa for them. Can you imagine?
They're also going to be forced.
Everybody's going to see this.
Wow.
People are going to see. People are going to have a mass awakening.
They see the best, they don't look at it.
Yeah. They're gonna try to turn their head from it.
Right. And sometimes you can't, right? If somebody, if all of a sudden a cow walks in here, we can't not see it, right? And even if you can't see, you're gonna smell it, you're gonna hear it, you're gonna feel something different now. There's a big cow in the room, you know?
Normally when there's chaos, then there comes a breakthrough.
Exactly.
Yeah, like something good is gonna happen.
Yes.
You know.
Every time. Has anyone ever been in a storm?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know how after the storm leaves, there's that, whoa, it's really calm right now. And it's almost eerie, because all of the electromagnetic, the static energy in the air has even it had gotten supercharged before the storm. You know, the energy before a storm, how you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
It's because everything is being charged. The chaos is getting ready to unleash in the storm. And then everything discharges. And it's calm, but then you can really assess and see. And then you start taking the rubble and you start putting together. You're like, actually, I don't need this anyway. Let me throw that out. I didn't remember I had that. I need that, right? And that's when we start coming together. So that's the timeline we're on. We don't have to wait until the complete chaotic annihilation of anything to start coming together. We are ahead of the game if we do this. So that when others are in that moment of, oh shit, they're going to look to us or whoever and be like, oh wait, you know how to communicate with people? You know how to be friends? You know how to work together? How do you do that? And because our hearts of compassion and deep understanding are so open, we'll say, yeah, welcome in.
So that's the first step, isn't it? Having that compassion and an open heart. And then from there, I'm trying to figure it out. From there, you have now you have the compassion. And so the action step would be it's saying hello to everybody, and when you see people have compassion, and if somebody, the behavior you irritates, you just have compassion for where it's coming from, right?
Yeah.
And that's cleaning the mess up, okay?
Yeah. And it's helping others clean up their mess, right? For example, so say you see someone and they're just a total turd burglar, they're a jerk, they're an asshole, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
because they're still out there. You know, there are still assholes on this earth plane. Sometimes I am one of them. I'm okay with that. I check it. Anyway, but when we see an asshole in this example, right? If we can have compassion for that person in that now moment that they're acting a fool,
Mhm.
maybe they've never gotten compassion. Maybe they've only been defended or fought against or ignored or neglected or abandoned in their moment of weakness.
Mhm.
Right? So what if in that moment of weakness that we can see them and be like, wow, I've been there.
Mhm.
I understand.
Mhm.
And then no matter what we do, we can speak to them, we can engage, we can turn, we can walk the other way. It doesn't matter what we do. It's the feeling and it's the energetic heart opening and looking at them and seeing them and being like, wow, I see you and I love you.
Mhm.
Whether we say that shit or not, but it's that feeling of compassion. That is something that maybe they've never experienced that will ignite potentially the energetic electromagnetic field around their heart, where they might be like, whoa, I just felt compassion. Or they might not name it, doesn't matter. But that's the change, because it opens up a doorway of dialogue of the heart where they
Right.
now feel safe in your presence. Now they're less likely to act a fool in your presence because they now feel safe. They don't feel unsafe. We act a fool when we feel unsafe.
Right.
Right? So yeah, it's literally open up the heart, be in compassion, and let the universe guide us all. Because we're doing whatever it is we're here to do, because we're here now doing it, whatever that is. And releasing judgment on each other, over each other, releasing it. Would you like to share with everyone?
No, I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm satisfied with all that, with all that. I know how to deal with that. I'm way back. I'm old. That's what they call me, old school.
Uh-huh. So does that mean that you're over sharing your love?
No, I ain't
Okay.
saying that. I'm a compassionate person anyway.
Yeah.
I got it going on there. Popcorn, they broke all that good stuff. I believe it.
That's awesome. You know, I don't think I love that I'm always learning, and I hope that I die always learning.
Me too.
I hope that I never say I know it all. I hope I never say I'm done. Because as soon as I say I'm done, what if the universe says, all right, you're out?
Yep.
You know, I always want to still learn. I always still want to grow. I always still want to expand. I always want to hear new perspectives and new ideas because I'm limited. I know all that I can know in this now moment, and I'm open to more. So thanks for being here and being
You
open.
believe in this study to show yourself approved. You believe in that?
Do I believe in what?
And the study to show yourself approved.
Do I believe in
You
studying?
had to study to show yourself approved.
Do I
Believe in yourself, lady. I don't know where you come from, but
do I believe in myself?
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself
Yeah.
to make it self-approved, like you approve of yourself now.
I mean-
you don't know yet. I just didn't need keep
So I can speak to myself and I can say that I am the God and the goddess in a body, that I am human and I am divine. And I know all that I can know, and I have the infinite intelligence to come to me and through me in any now moment that I so choose.
No, I ain't mad at you.
Right? No, I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question. So that's the knowing that I know.
Okay.
And I also know that I don't know shit because I'm humble.
But I understand, I'm trying to share what it is. This world have changed so much because their love and respect is gone. Because in the old school, you could leave your door open all night and all day long when nobody go in your house. They don't do that now. They go in your house and they lock down. You know, that's not real. But it's totally different. The
Yeah.
love and the respect is gone. That's what I'm saying.
I choose to hold the vision that it's not gone, that it's just forgotten.
Well, if we're gone, that's the same thing.
Right.
Ain't there.
You know, like it's one thing if I forget where I put my keys, and it's another thing if they're gone. Because at some point they're going to turn back up, and I'll be like, "Yay!" But if they're gone, they just disappeared, right?
I have one thing to
Yeah.
say, and it's probably none of my business, but I'm old enough to say that I have experienced a lot of change in this world, and I hate every bit of it, But I have to accept that change and move on, like you were talking about. Sometimes I even have to learn stuff about that change, but the change is there, and I think acceptance is the key.
Yeah, I feel like acceptance is like this boat that guides us, that holds us on this water, right? It's like I'm accepting that I'm just on this water, right? Compassion is going to put the wind in my sails, right? The love is the water that holds me, right? The joy is what's going to propel me. So I'm like having a good time on this experience, right? So that to me, that's what all this is. It's like, where am I? Am I being the water? Am I being the boat? Am I being the wind? Am I being the inspiration to pick a direction and move?
Right.
Because all of that is us.
What part are you of the boat?
All of it.
Yeah.
We're all of it.
Exactly.
Depending on what now we're talking.
Alright.
Right? Sometimes I just want to be the water and let other people sail away. You know? So yeah, we're at the timeline where we get to work together. Right? Where we get to stand in our truth, speak our truth, speak our boundaries, where we get to work together in whatever ways, new ways,
Okay.
old ways. Right? That this is the time to do it. And we've never done it like this. So we have no template and we can't fuck it up.
Oh,
We can't. We just got to keep our hearts open and keep having compassion for each of us. Me being like, well, I'm trying. Yeah, I know you're trying. Let's try together. You know, that worked. That didn't work. Okay, it's a new day. What else can we do? And keep moving forward.
Do something different.
I remember, I'm not that experienced with this life thing, but I remember when we got our first CD player in my house, it came from Japan. They didn't even have it in the US. And I remember looking at that thing for months. We didn't know what to put in it, didn't know what to do with it, had no clue. And we were just fine with the system that my daddy had and the microphone and watching the little vibrator. We were cool with that. We were cool with the tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Once we actually put a CD in there and we figured out how to make it work, then we adjusted our thinkings to be okay with that. And now you don't even have to do that because they got streaming, so you don't need the CDs. But we've adjusted our thinkings to that. I'm saying that to say this. Growing up, I had to learn that although, and even now with my recovery, is one thing I keep in mind. Although I was comfortable in the past at that moment, I'm comfortable with the present now, and I don't need to live in the past anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking and open for whatever's coming next because the past is exactly what it was. That was yesterday. That worked for yesterday. That doesn't work for today.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. And I think keeping our mind open allows our future self to guide us now.
Yeah.
Because our future self is already there.
Right.
Our future self is already living whatever life and is genuinely just waiting for us patiently. And all we got to do is be open-minded and open-hearted to hear that calling of our future self, our higher self, our divine self, spirit, the part of us that is not in a body weighted down with the worries of the world.
Right.
You know, that our future is so taken care of. So it's like, how can I be now? How can we work together and navigate this and trust that whatever's behind us is going to be exactly whatever it is we needed for what we need now to get us where we're going. So thanks for yes, compassion brings peace and love. So true. So thanks for coming today and like talking about this, right? About prophecy and basically like the end of the world and coming back together again without going too much into death. Because y'all know I love to talk about death just as much as I like to talk about birth and rebirth.
I'm gonna try compassion this week.
Yeah.
Work on it.
Yeah. Because why not?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just dive into the pool of compassion. What does it look like? It may be new. Maybe you've never dove so deep before. Maybe you're an avid swimmer in the lake of compassion and you want to like make some splash and throw it around on others. Whatever your relationship is with compassion, see if you can reinstate a new one, right? Like create a new relationship with compassion. Like if you were
Right.
dancing with compassion this week, what would it look like? Right? If I have like a little bit more of a groove, maybe it would be slower. Maybe you would want to turn it up loud. Whatever,
Okay.
right? So thanks for coming. Thanks for being a part of expanding the spiritual dimension of wellness.
Thank you.
Thank
Hope
you.
you got it now.
Yay. Drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
For real.
I do that.
Yeah.
I drink a lot of water.
Huh?
Not too much to make drown.
If it's a pool of compassion water, it's okay. You can't drown.
Good.
Thank y'all online for checking this out and for being here and adding your energy and love. I'm so grateful. I will see y'all Tuesday.